hit or at least a fly ball here. One and oh, he gets a high strike. That looked like a ball. That was high. DC, we can have a close play here, Ronnie. Shimmy has an arm. JT falls. He fell down and he cannot score. He fell down coming home.
Oh my God!
Wow.
Are you kidding?
Time is out.
Fell and he
Can't
had to
even use a pinch
retreat.
runner.
He has an arm. JT falls. He fell down and he cannot score. Arm. JT falls. He fell down and he cannot score. Arm. JT falls. He fell down and he cannot score.
I'll be riding shotgun underneath the hot sun, feeling like a someone. I'll be riding shotgun underneath the hot sun, feeling like a someone. We're south of the equator, navigator. Gotta hit the road, gotta hit the road. Deep sea diving round the clock, bikini bottoms, lager tops. I could get used to this.
Back with JT, doing a phenomenal job so far. By the way, you're bringing good insight here.
Thank you, Norm.
You're speaking loudly. I think we could hear you.
I hope you could hear. I'm not a loud guy. You know, I like to talk, but I'm not. I don't have that voice
Right.
you have. But I'm trying.
You're trying. You're doing well, JT.
Thank you.
Okay, this team was the one that got all the press after draft day, but we got to break it down and see if the press was worthy, if it was deserving or not. Your initial thoughts on this squad, JT?
I'm just gonna start it off with this.
Okay, A plus plus plus. A plus 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 from JT.
That's an A+++ draft. It's the perfect draft. Now the team is an A. It's an A team. But
Okay.
the draft was an A+. A+. You couldn't. It's a perfect draft.
Well-
there's not one. I didn't see one mistake. He hit every single pick.
I have to agree with you because there were a few steals of the draft overall.
All on this.
I want to point out some of them that are on this team alone, okay? How's this guy at 24th overall?
Joke.
How's this guy at 40 and this guy at 41? These are my 3 steals of the draft.
This guy went very late.
This guy also went late.
Very, very late. He went in this. I think he went 60, 50 something. Not normal. He's
Listen,
phenomenal. So
Michael
this team-
Beta, to me, is one of the best center fielders in the league, but so is Farka. So I don't know what I couldn't even put it out in the field. What would you do with these 3 outfielders? And then I'll tell you what I would do, because I don't know who goes in left, who goes in center, and who goes in right.
So Farka won the championship last year. Played a great center. You always had that question mark if he could play center, and he really, to be honest, he wasn't playing it as good as the others. But you had to put him there because there really was no one else. We didn't have the depth like we have now. But he showed himself last year. Zach does a really good job also positioning. I think Zach helped him also position. Because when I played with Zach in a pickup game, he was telling me, I never had this before, he was telling me where to position guys. He was telling me where to play.
Yeah.
So I was like, wow, Zach. And sometimes we had different views, but I think he may have helped them. So Farka doesn't have Z anymore to help him. Now Farka obviously knows the league. He's a very smart player. Very smart player. But I don't know if he knew, so that could hurt him positioning-wise. Center field's all about position. Michael Beta doesn't really know the league so well, so he doesn't really know the guys. So I would start with Farka in center.
Okay.
I'd put him in center. I would definitely put Beta in right, and I'll tell you why. Because right field's the most similar to center. Left field is just really more reaction, but Beta in right, I played right field with Beta in center in Red Hook in a league that we played with all All-Stars. Jack Abadi, John Eliezer, Eddie Rishti, Henry Shalom, Jimmy Malak, Ike Mavora, Nate B filled in sometimes. The league was this unbelievable team. And Beta played center, I played right, and right field's very similar to center field. You're getting those curved balls. So I like Michael Beta in right. Marty's and he's also the lefty. I feel like the lefty plays in right in baseball for some reason. So I like him there. Marty I love in left. It's more of a running around speed position. Ball goes in the gap. You got to cut it off, get to second. It's more shot down the line. You want your speedster getting there, cutting it off. There's more speed you want in left. I love this, but this is my alignment that I would do.
Okay, so this is funny because I happen to agree with you, and it's not how I felt earlier. Farka's playing center because Farka's the first round pick on this team. Farka wants to play center. Farka proved last year, even without diving stops or anything, that he could get the best jump on the ball. The guy was running before the ball was hit half the times, and he was getting to everything, and his arm is phenomenal. So he's going to play center field. Therefore, the decision comes to who do you put in right and who do you put in left, and Marty only has played left field. I don't know if I'd want to throw him to right field with those curves like you said. One more thing, Beta's arm is as good as Farka's. Beta's arm is, no?
No.
Tell me.
Farka's is a different level in terms of speed. Accuracy is a different story. He's not the most accurate Farka. He's not. But he has the arm strength, which is very important because you scare people. You know, runners aren't going to be running as much because you're afraid of the arm. He could connect. And if he connects, you know, you're out. So it's a threat. Now, he's not the most accurate. Michael Beta is accurate, but his arm's not that good. It's not,
okay.
It's not 8+. It's a solid arm. I played with him. I remember it's not like a Zach arm. It's not like a trigger.
Is it better than Marty's?
I don't know Marty's.
Right. I don't really know Marty's either. I haven't seen Marty unleash yet.
I don't know his arm, no. But I'm sure he's a strong kid. I'm sure he could throw really well, but his arm, I think, is mediocre. But I could see these two. Listen, Farkas has center. I could see a switch though in the middle of the year, and that's no knock on Farka. It's just a praise to this guy.
Yeah,
it's a major praise. This guy is the real deal. How's this? So 2007, I played on his team. This was his last season. This is 15. This is my 15th year in the league.
Name of the squad?
We Are Family.
We Are Family.
So Michael Beta was in center. My dad was in left. I was in right. Jacobati shortstop. The whole team was insane. We'll talk about it later. Michael Beta, that was his last time playing. Now, 6-7 years later, we formed this Red Hook team. And we all said, I was like, I remember saying to myself, is Michael still good? Is he going to handle center? Maybe I'll play center. Jacobati, Farka, who's going to play center? And he said, no, Beta's got it. He was probably the best player on our team.
Wow.
Most consistent player. He batted .3. He shocked me how much power he had at the plate. He was our most consistent hitter. Always hit the ball on the screws. He made out a lot at people, but I remember him hitting the ball hard a lot. This was 6-7 years later. Now this is another 6 years later. So I don't know but 6 years later there he did it. 6 years later now, could he still do it? I think he can.
It's the biggest question of the YMSL heading into opening day. And I hope we're not too quick to judge on opening day because maybe he needs a week or two to get into going. But I know Michael Beta. He's my first cousin, and I love him to death. And I think he's my first cousin. His dad and my mom are brother and sister.
Wow.
So Michael, to me, is not just a legend. He was like, growing up, Michael was the hero. We used to go to the Hillel Heat games. He was the guy. And now I saw Michael around 10 days ago. The guy is a stud. First of all, he's the best looking guy you'll ever meet in your life. Second of all, he has not 1% of body fat. He's built, he looks like the David statue. Like he's built perfectly.
And he hasn't aged.
And he's running marathons. And Zolta said it the other day, the guy's still got a full head of hair. He doesn't age. I have to, knowing Michael, he's not coming back if he can't play. He's not the guy playing at 60 years old that used to be a legend that no one's going to respect. He's going to be good. So
steal the draft. Definitely steal the draft. Great player, and I think he's going to be the real deal this year. I do.
Before we get to the lineup,
he may not have the stats, but game to game, he will win you a game here and a game there. I'm not saying he's going to hit 500, 550, and have an MVP year like Farka and those guys, but he's going to. It's not going to show up on the stat sheet, but he's going to win games. He's going to get you that single and get to second, steal the extra bag, and get in scoring position to win the extra run. He's going to make a diving play to save a run.
Yeah. He's
going to do all those things. He's a money guy.
He's also not going to throw home to let a guy go to second, and that's the winning run, and then a little bloop, and then they lose the game. He's smart. He's going to know the situation of the game, and when there's a guy on third and he's batting, you know he's going to rock one to right field and get the guy home. Smart play. Before we get to the lineup, I want to talk about the infield a little bit, because if there is a question on this team, if there is, it could be possibly the captain himself at short, the third baseman who made some errant throws on Zona and on the Maccabees. His throws weren't great. He had a good glove, I'm not sure about his throw across the diamond, but you seem to disagree with me. Not the most mobile at second, my main man DR, Mr. Clutch over here, which is such a great addition to this team. So defensively, I have issues, but then you have an overqualified short center. You have a shortstop playing short center.
Excellent.
Just like you have 3 outfielders that are overqualified. You have an excellent pick of Max, who I have as one of the 3 steals on this team.
Yeah, so defense is great in the infield. The question marks are, like, Eshko's not the best superstar shortstop. He's not. And he's went 9th, 10th overall, but everyone knows he's not the best superstar. Great kid. I love him. He's a very mature player. He's a great player, but he's just not the best of the superstars. He's more of the bottom tier of them. And so he's definitely a question mark. He's a little shaky. In that game 3 right over here against Swimming, he had a couple of huge errors that led to that inning. Jack Abadi also had a couple of errors. The infield was terrible, but he had a big one. I remember watching. I'm like, you got to make that play. And then the next guy got a hit, and the next guy got a hit. So he's got to be great. He is not a question mark. He's tremendous. He's a wizard. I call him a wizard. He's not normal.
A wizard?
I think he's the best. There's so many great defensive third basemen, but he's as good as it gets. DR won 2 championships in the last 3 years.
And probably has 5 or 6 rings overall.
But
Yeah.
I'm saying at second base, he won 2 out of the last 3 years. Now, he is declining a little bit. But he's still, first off, the best guy. I love him so much. He's the best guy, best teammate. But he can hold his own. He's going to be able to hold his own. And his hitting, he's not going to put up the stats. He doesn't have that, but he's going to get the hits when you need it. And that's really all that matters.
He's the most clutch human.
You have a guy.
He's so clutch. He gets the hits when they matter somehow. I don't care what I will 100%. Never look at DR stats.
You look at Ruby Shalou, right? The guy will have 23 hits, but he's not a money player. But you have a guy like DR who'll have 12 hits, and he'll win you 3-4 games. So
for sure, and it's crazy how it keeps happening. He's always up in a big spot. He always comes through.
He's a money guy. And Max Sutton, let me just get to Max Sutton. Max Sutton, one of the steals of the draft, like we said, and he's the perfect guy to complement Eshko. Perfect guy. He's going to talk to him. He's going to keep him into it. He's going to help him. He's going to unbelievable pick.
Okay, so now about the positioning that you mentioned with Farka earlier. I think Farka is a genius out there, and I really think he knows how to position. He does so much studying of the league. Compared to what I heard when I came into this league a few years ago, when I re-entered, everyone told me Farka's a hothead, this, that. Guy's cool as a fan, and he's extremely smart. I think you're not giving him enough credit for what he knows out there.
He's a very smart player, very smart drafter. He knows the system. He knows how to draft. He knows what to go for, what to not go for. I need a third baseman. I'm not going to take a left field here because there's too many.
Right.
He understands the whole lingo, but he's not the best. He needs to position better. I've seen him play here. Right. And Max is here. I've seen him play here, and it's like, dude, you got to be playing here. So he likes to gamble a lot, and he thinks like this guy can't hit this, but he can hit, and he'll hit it over your head, and he does. He has hit it over his head. So Jack Abadi also has that a little bit. They play a little too shallow. Ball goes right over their head. It's not worth it. It's not worth it.
Okay, I got to say also, Eshko not the most vocal as a captain. Eshko not the most vocal as a captain. I heard last year that really Abadi was more vocal than him, which is odd because on the Lumber Kings, I heard he was more vocal than A.B. Saka, but whatever. But I really think the championship pick of this whole team was this guy, Max Sutton. You have a 15-year captain. You have a commissioner. You have a guy with a rake. There's nothing that could come up that Max Sutton is not prepared for. And you have him at short center. He could fill in here. He could fill in here. He could fill in here. He could fill in anywhere. They also have Mo Harari. This is a good bat that we have to talk about in the lineup.
Great bench player.
And they have benched him.
He's not a bench player. He happens to be on this team, but he's a great player.
Okay.
Great player.
I want to talk about Saban also in a second, but first, the only question mark on this team is the championship pitcher from 2 years ago that was taken 8th. He was the 8th pitcher taken this year. You're giving an X by pitching.
You have to give an X by pitching. He's a champion in 2019. You can't take it away from him. He pitched great. And even last year, got to the semis, but he had like 50, 60 walks. That can't happen. So he's got to fix that. I think he knows. He claimed he was hurt. Hopefully he's healed. Hopefully he's better. But he is, he's the whole key. If he's going to pitch well, this team's like the White Walkers. You see, the last 3 years, there's always a team that's stacked. And then you have Leo. And it's funny. Leo happens to have got very lucky. The last 3 years, he was on three of the best teams.
But it's no
Cold-blooded.
coincidence because he's taken so late.
Yeah, but he can also get screwed and get taken by that other team,
Right.
He gets, listen, there's only 1 or 2 teams, but he always gets on that right team. Cold-blooded was the best roster last year.
Yeah.
White Walkers was the best roster the year before, and this is the best roster in the league this year. So he's getting very lucky, all 3. He's got to be better. And listen, he can have shades of where he's great, and he can have shades where he's awful. And it's just really what you're going to get on any given Sunday.
He opened game 3 against Swimming. We know his team let him down defensively, but he opened that game with 2 or 3 consecutive walks to open the game.
I didn't know that. That's terrible.
And then there were errors, and then before we knew it was 12-0 in that game. In game 3, we all went to the other field to watch the 0-0 game.
That's terrible. I got there late. I got there on the time where Jack made an error and Eshko made an error.
Right.
I didn't know. I didn't know how those guys got on, but also Leo, it's funny you say that. Leo in game 4 of the World Series when we went to Fireman, remember before that Shabbat, SmackDown? He had 6 walks.
In the first 2 and a third innings.
Not normal, and they gave up 1 run.
That's right. Only a Steven Batesh hit was the only thing that drove in a run on that Friday game.
Correct.
That we suspended in the middle. Okay. Before we get to the lineup.
Jimmy Malak had the hit to right. He had it. Eddie Richie made the greatest
that play.
Ike Mavora.
Scoop.
On the bag. So that was the whole series. That
Ike Mavora scoop is one of the most overlooked plays of that World Series run. That scoop. Because Eddie made the play, but he spiked the ball, and Mavora saved him.
Yes,
okay. These two had a controversy last year. This battery. Leo showed up Turner in a playoff game last year, came behind the plate on this field and told him where to sit. It was a complete show up. Turner was pissed about it. Why, of all the catchers, did you draft the same guy? Also, at that game 3, this guy didn't even show up till the 2nd inning, which is unacceptable. He shouldn't even be in the league this year after he didn't show up on time to game 3. So I didn't like that pick. Pick a different catcher. Take Abdo. Take anybody.
You got it.
Take Fonz.
Well, yeah, that's disgraceful that he came late. Eshko, I'm sure Eshko knows that these two are okay. They did have that little scenario, but I'm sure he knows they're okay. You would hope. Otherwise, why would you pick them, like you said?
Okay.
But also, you don't always have the choice. Sometimes, whatever's left of catchers, you have to take. So maybe that's it. I didn't look at the draft board.
Yeah. Okay, I mean, it's a very minor point, and we assume it's okay.
Now,
but they took him 88, JT.
Yeah.
They took him 88, and they couldn't have taken him earlier because before that they took Leo, actually. So the only ones they could have taken instead of him was Fonz. So I guess that's who they went with.
Yeah.
Okay, this lineup with my main man, Saban, who is, what kind of hitter are we dealing with? We're talking about a Hall of Fame player in Saban. I mean, the guy is still hitting. Last year on a broken leg, the guy was getting doubles. It's crazy how good of a hitter this guy is. And I'll let you take the floor, but it's just crazy that some people in this league, the youngsters, do not know how great Michael Saban was 10 years ago when he couldn't get out, when he was batting 600. He's still phenomenal, and he's batting behind Marty, Farka, Eshko, Beta, all these fast guys. He's going to have a monster year.
Yeah, so I think he's going to win MVP this year. That's my MVP pick. I think he's going to have 20-plus ribbies. He's a machine. But I think he's probably top 5 hitters of all time in terms of longevity and average. He's the best.
What about his personality? If he only could come out of his shell a little, then he would really have the full package. And that he has the gray rocket for him also.
So this team, he could definitely get out of whack on this team. He could, because there's a young kid, very nice guy. That's a good combo. Eshko, I can see him, yelling. Michael Beta, nice guy. Farka can get wild. But this team, he could definitely lose it, especially on this guy. He goes crazy for walks. He can't handle it. And he's going to be chirping at him. And then he is going to say, you cannot chirp at him. And he's going to say, chill out. And Mike's going to say, chill out. Okay. And then it could be a little bit crazy.
So Saban's going to yell at Leo.
Yes. He's
going to say, chill. This guy, Max, is going to say, chill.
He's going to calm him down.
Beta's going to say, chill. This guy's not shy in the outfield. He's going to say, chill.
I think he'll get angry, too. So I don't think he'll say chill.
Wow.
But these other guys, yes. But I mean, listen, you know, I would also get upset if Leo's walking the ballpark.
It's
But maybe you got it
unacceptable.
right way.
It's unacceptable to walk people when you have this defense behind you. Unacceptable. Let them rock it. This guy's the fastest guy in the league. He'll catch anything. He'll catch anything. He'll catch anything.
Also, it's one thing if Naby's gonna walk guys. It's not acceptable for Leo to walk guys. His stuff isn't that good, so you can't walk people. Just put the ball over. You're really putting it over anyway. Just put it over.
Last thing on Farka is, you know, he had such a good year last year, but he played on a team where the pitcher had 14 walks in 18 games, and he played on a team that went 12-2 and, you know, cruised from beginning to end. So, you know, he's going to have to be patient because this guy's going to walk people unacceptably, but he's going to walk people, and he's going to have to understand he's not playing. He's going to learn early that Maxi Deed is not on the bump to him. So, JT, this is obviously one of the best teams in the league. You gave it an A+++++, and you're downgrading it to an A-. Your chemistry, you're saying, is not there. Your pitching is
I
not
just think
there.
I think Leo's going to cause some issues with his walks. The chemistry's going to get a little bit out of whack, so that's why I gave him the minus. I just this was just developed just now.
Okay.
But listen, the team's loaded roster,
Loaded.
and this is a team that you just don't want to see when your season's on the line. You don't want to see these guys.
Certainly not.
You don't want to face them. Mars Harari is going to be batting 9. David Ricci's going to be batting 8.
It's insane.
It's not normal. This guy bats. He should be batting 5-6. He should be batting 5-6.
Let's assume Marty, Farka, Beta, and Eshko in some order are the top 4. Oh my God.
It's not real.
Marty,
It's not real.
how you make it? Then you have Saban and Max, and DR, and Mo Harari. This lineup is insane. Leo, don't walk people, you win the championship. Your defense and your offense are the best in the league. Just don't walk people. Okay, Jimson, great job.
I'll be riding shotgun underneath the hot sun, feeling like a someone. I'll be riding shotgun underneath the hot sun, feeling like a